July 1st, July 1st, 1694. July 1st, 1694, Thursday, July 1st, Thursday today, 2021, and it was Thursday, July 1st, 1694, 330 years ago. Day 2 of Don Diego de Vargas's Entrada. The governor and captain general goes to the Canada, the abandoned Hacienda of Moraga, where it's necessary to set up camp. On the 1st of July of this present year of the said date, 1694, I, said governor and captain general, having been with this camp on this river bank in place of the Rio del Norte with the concern that perhaps the enemy would dare to attack at night after having heard about my arrival from the smoke signals with which they're communicating from all sides, I set out from this place and go a distance 7 leagues to the Canada of the abandoned Moraga Hacienda, because it was a place of less risk. I was obliged to halt and to quarter the royal army here, having passed through the pueblos of San Lazaro and San Cristobal. They X'd out Christ, San Cristobal. Interesting. And recognize that these enemy rebels have most of their cornfields planted, the sight of which gives me much cause for joy. And the people of the camp, and that it may be on record, I sign it with my Secretary of War, doing it together with the Cabos, Captain and Alferez of the Royal Standard, Don Diego de Vargas Zapata, Lux and Ponce de Leon, Antonio Giorgi, Diego Arias de Quiros, Antonio de Baluerde, before me, Alfonso Real de Aguilar, Secretary of Government and War. So apparently 5 people: Aguilar, Balude, Arias, Georgie, and Vargas. And maybe that Alferez, Captain and Alferez, or is that a title? What are you, the captain or something? No, I'm the Alferez. Oh yeah, I'm the Alferez around these parts. Okay, you can be the Alferez. I'll be the judge, jury, and executioner. You can go ahead. You can be the Alferez. So 7 leagues. That's about 21 miles. Abandoned Moraga Hacienda. What is that? I don't know. Rio del Norte. What is the smoke signals? Canada. We're in Canada. I thought it was in New Mexico. I thought, what are we talking about Canada for? San Lazaro, the Royal Army, the Pueblos, San Cristobal, cornfields. He's happy that they had planted cornfields, and then there's only 5 people, but then there's 80. They're going to hunt with 80 people. What the fuck is going on? What the goddamn flying fuck is going on? Day 2, huh? Day 2. So day 1 was essentially what? Day 1 is they went and killed 11 Native Americans, and then they took a nap, right? So day 1, they killed 11 Native Americans and then went and took a nap. And then day 2, they're going to go to one place and then go to another place, and then the smoke signals, and that's it, right? They saw smoke signals. They saw that corn was planted, and they're just going to walk 21 miles to the abandoned Moraga Hacienda. And I guess that's Canada. That's according to them back in the day. New Mexico was Canada. So there you go. That's July 1st of the motherfucking goddamn motherfucker. Don Diego de Vargas. So ephemeral is just very short. Fashions are ephemeral, an ephemeral plant, transitory, like nature, right? Just transitory, ephemeral, so avoid the periods of drought as seeds. Fashions are, hula hoop is ephemeral. Now we got 20 more Castilla County questions. Let's go over them real quick. Day 1 of Vargas's Entrada into Colorado. What did his men do to the 11 Indian fighters at the Cuyamungue Pueblo? They killed them all. They killed all 11 Indian, so-called Indian fighters. Number 2, when was San Luis established? 1851. When was Garcia established? 1849. True or false? Narciso Beaubian and Stephen Lee were killed during the 1847 Taos Revolt. True. What's the genus species of the buffalo that the Folsom people hunted in the Great Sand Dunes at Stewart's Cattle Guard? That's actually bison. I should fix that. Not just bison antiquus, but bison antiquus. So they found Folsom points next to some bison antiquus skeleton structures. Number 6. What year did the Sand Creek Massacre happen? What month? What day? November 1864, 1 year before the end of the Civil War, 1864. So Chivington was, a hero in terms of the Union and the Confederacy, but when it came to Native Americans, November 1864, on the 29th, that he's going to kill 148 innocents. This is John Chivington. John Chivington killed 148 innocents, and over half of them were women and children. So 148, half is 74, so more than 74 were women and children. John Chivington, November 29, 1864. This is Sand Creek Massacre. I don't even know how you could come into Colorado and not know the Ludlow Massacre, the Sand Creek Massacre. Essentially, Ludlow Massacre is rich whites killing poor whites, and then the Sand Creek Massacre is the genocide, the white genocide of brown natives. Cheyenne and Arapaho. They're the 2 Native American tribes involved with the Sand Creek Massacre. So 148 got killed, and they're Cheyenne and Arapaho. Just sitting ducks, unarmed. Men, women, and children, but mostly women and children. How many of Black Kettle's followers were slaughtered? How many were women and children? So it was Black Kettle, right? And it was 148, more than half, so more than 74. What did John Chivington's men do to the dead bodies in village? He mutilated them and burnt it down. What happened to Governor John Evans of the Colorado Territory after the Sand Creek Massacre? He was forced to resign. What was the first governor of the territory? Who was the first governor of the territory of Colorado? William Gilpin. What year was that? 1861. What are the first 3 governors of Colorado? John Long Rout. He's a Republican, got the women's right to vote. Number 2, Frederick Walker Pitkin. He's a Republican. Number 3, James Benton Grant. He's a Democrat. So you had Rout, Pitkin, and then Grant. Those are the first 3 governors of Colorado. When was the church in San Nicasio established? 1856. It was a Catholic church. Who was Spain's king in 1694? Charles II, the Bewitched. King of Spain, a cripple in mind and body. What does San Francisco, Chalma, San Pedro, Los Fuertes, Jaroso, San Nicasio, and Mesita all have in common? They're all cities in Costilla County, Colorado. What was Garcia, Colorado, established as? Plaza de los Manzanares. Plaza de los Manzanares. In the 1850s, what county was Costilla County a part of? Or actually, it wasn't Costilla, it was what county? Taos County. So Costilla County in the 1850s used to be part of Taos County, New Mexico. 19, William Gilpin, which would be the first territorial governor of Colorado, bought the 1,000,000-acre Beaubian land grant, Costilla County, for 4 cents an acre, $41,000. In what year? In what year did the first territorial, he was only governor for, like a year or 2, and then you had Evans. John Evans is going to be the second territorial governor, so this was not when he was the governor, but just a year or 2 after he. So William Gilpin, right? And that William Gilpin is the motherfucking goddamn, 1861, William Gilpin was governor, and then 1863 is when he's going to buy that Beaubian land grant for only $41,000. So 1863, and then number 20, after Vargas crossed the Rio Grande in July 1694, how many men hunted elk and buffalo? Over 80 men. There's over 80 men. So when you try to reconstruct what that, Entrada was like, there was over 80 men. There was over 80 men that was a part of this Entrada coming up from Santa Fe, and it took about 7 days for them to get to Colorado. And there you go. There you go. There's 20 questions, and that's July 1st, 1694. Day 2 of Vargas's Entrada.